All right, here we are for the last segment. Hopefully that last part gave you something to think about. I hope you went and watched those videos. They're mind-blowing. Super cool to watch, but totally mind-blowing. So in this last segment, I want to talk a little bit about art versus reality, because where's the line there? Like, is there a line? So let me share some slides here with you. Art versus reality. I always think I like these kind of pictures where they superimpose something into a photograph. I think that's super cool looking. But let me show you something. So this website is really, really interesting. And I have a direct link down below. And it looks like I need to fix the link in the video here, but the direct link down below. So if you click on that, it pulls up this photographer's website. And what they've done is they've recolored several historical pictures. And they take the pictures, he's taken the pictures and added based on best information available, what the actual colors would have looked like. And if you can take these sliders, you've probably seen websites that do this before, and you can slide back and forth and kind of compare the original picture, black and white picture, with the colored picture and see what the difference is. It's pretty striking actually on some of these images. Are they updating history here, or are they just making the photograph more true to history? What do you think? Look through a whole bunch of several of the pictures on there. They're stunningly beautiful pictures. So here's another example. I saw this, I think it was just last fall I saw this. There was a guy, and I think his wife's a photographer maybe. Anyhow, they must have planned this out, because there's a whole series of pictures here that look really interesting. Isn't that cool? Like, he's got all the pictures lined up just right. I don't even know how long it would have taken that person to do that. And then he's going to put the sun in his trunk and away they go, right? So the sun's not really going in his car, but that's photography. Is that art or reality? Let me give you another example. So I have a really good friend. He's an artist. He currently lives in Mexico City, but he's lived all over the world, and he's traveled all over the world. Right before Mexico City, he lived in Ojai, California. So he's just been everywhere. He's gone to China, he's gone to France, he's gone all kinds of places. This particular picture, I believe, was taken in Thailand. So what he does, and he's a traditional artist, so he uses paints and markers, and I'm not an artist. I can't describe all his tools, but he uses like regular tools, right? But one of the things he does is he goes all over the place and he takes photographs. Now, I'm just going to assure you this is not a dead dog. This is a sleeping dog. I just want to clarify that. The dog is just sleeping. So he saw this dog here, and he saw some really interesting visual elements to this dog. And one of the things he does is he combines elements of reality to create a new reality. So this is what he did with this picture. These are actual signs. These are actual advertisements or different art elements, and he's taken and he's overlaid it with the oils or whatever the paints are that he uses to transform the dog from this to this. So the question is, this one's obviously real. This is obviously the photograph, right? What about this? Is this a real photograph? Kind of. Like, what he does is he actually takes the picture as the basic, as the foundation, and then he paints over the actual photograph, and he adds the different elements into the actual photograph. So is that art or is that reality? Man, that's super interesting. He does some really beautiful work. He did a photograph, I should put it in the slideshow, of our son and our dog from several years back. And the dog's no longer with us, and I love the picture. It's a really nice one in this style, done in this style. So what I'm wondering is there a point where this creativity crosses a line? Like, how do you know where the line is? And I like to say it's all fun and games until something bad happens. So you may remember this scenario. The headlines that went around had something to do with the husband sues the wife because she must have had plastic surgery before they were married, because all the kids were ugly. And so he sued the wife because the kids were ugly. Terrible story, right? A horrible story. but man, it flew all over the place. It was all over the internet. And like, here's even an article, a BBC article, if you want to follow up about this story. The problem is that wasn't the story. And this is a video with the actual model. So this is the lady here. And she tells her story. The actual story is that was a photo shoot for a magazine, for a print publication. It was never supposed to go online. And the kids were all photoshopped to look like they had Down syndrome. They didn't really look like that. You know, this guy's not her husband. These aren't her kids. This was just a modeling shoot. And her career was skyrocketing and things were going really, really good. And then this picture went viral. Somebody released it when they shouldn't have. And it's only about a 2-minute video, but her whole life was turned upside down to the point where even her fiance's family was saying, "Are you sure that wasn't you? Like, are you sure that's not your kids? Are you sure?" Like, she's getting questioned by members of her own family. When you watch the video, it's very heartfelt. Like, she's not making this up. So at what point do you cross the line with these things? This is a super interesting video for you to watch. This lady took her picture, and the original's on the left side. And what she did is she sent it out to photographers or photo editors around the world. And she said, based on where you live, make this picture beautiful. And I'll play just a little bit of it because it's crazy the differences around the world. Whoops. Come on, ad. We're almost done. So she starts off with her basic picture. Make me beautiful. Some are subtle differences, some are very dramatic differences. That one's a little scary. Of course, they don't get a lot of sun in Germany, so maybe that's why they're all that pale. Anyhow, if you go through and watch the video, the one with the United States is disturbing. It's really weird that is the vision of beauty based on this one photographer, photo editor's perspective. You can really do a lot with the tools. You really can. This is a quick video. This one's been around for a super long time. And it just goes through the process of how a photographer does that. You know, how does a photographer make those changes? And so it actually shows the behind the scenes of the model getting ready in the photo shoot, and then the photographer taking her images into Photoshop, doing a bunch of editing, and then ending up on a billboard that you see as you drive down the street. So I think that'll be illuminating. So the things I want you to think about as we talk about this whole idea of digital media manipulation is, where do we draw the line between creativity and deception? You know, back on those pictures that we looked at with the New York Times and the one that was the Microsoft marketing, like, do they have a different criteria or a different bar? Should you expect the newspaper to just tell the facts? Or is it okay if they do a little bit of editing to bring out the story? What about in the marketing? Like, everybody knows that what you see in the ads isn't really what you expect to get. So is it okay if they change their, use editing to change their advertisements to fit the demographic that they're looking for? And how does the purpose and context of photo editing affect how you feel about it? So when you see those billboards up, you know, in our area here, we've got a couple of rotating billboards on the highway, and then there's several other billboards. And if you see these pictures, like in this last video, of this woman that doesn't really exist, but she's put up on the billboard as a picture of beauty, how does that make you feel? Like, as a woman, how does that make you feel? As a man, how does that change your expectations? And I guess I want to know, like, what role does the internet play in allowing us to share, inspire, and critique the images? So like every day, somebody's posting stuff to Facebook. Oh, here's this accident that just happened, or here's this thing that just happened, and it's just like a slice of time. Like it's not the whole picture. And what if that accident is your family member? And that's the first time you saw it. Like you open up Facebook and boom, there's a picture of your family member laying out on the street and their car's all banged up. That happens. Like just because you have the phone in your pocket, does that mean that you should be able to do that? Do you have any rights or responsibilities that go along with creating digital media? One of the big issues, especially with middle schoolers and high schoolers, is the drama. They take pictures and post them out and make fun of each other and cause all kinds of problems. It takes bullying to a whole new level. So just because we have a phone in our pocket, does that mean that we should be able to take anything and post anything? Like, do we have any rights and responsibilities that go with that? And are there any different standards for professional versus amateur? If you just crop a picture, should you say something? If you lighten it up a little bit so it's easier to see, like do you put a little note at the bottom? Like what's the boundary of at what point do you disclose that you edited something? And is it different from a photojournalist for a newspaper versus a marketer versus me? What ethical issues should there be to consider? There's just all kinds of super interesting implications. I don't have the answers to all of those, but we've all moved from being consumers of these, just looking at the pictures, to being creators. Like if you've uploaded anything anywhere, you're now a creator. Do you use Snapchat? Do you use Instagram? Are you doing this to Facebook? Do you just send a picture to somebody? So you need to think about, what does that mean? That's what makes this a super, super interesting topic to talk about. So I hope you enjoy all those videos. Definitely go look at all those videos. They're fun.